Being an accountant, I maintain that the government keeps me in business. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the past recommendations. I think it's important to recognize that participating in this does result in change. If you go through the list, and we started off our session by going through the list of what actually has come out of the tax and budget sessions over the past 13 years, and that includes personal income tax reform, the creation of the Tax Policy Office, the Department of Revenue, pension reform, the property tax cap, with Teresa Piva-Weed's help on that, corporate tax reform, estate tax reform, repeal of the franchise tax, increasing direct expensing provisions to the federal limits, removing the sales tax on energy costs, reducing the minimum tax to $400, enacting some property tax reform by phasing out the car tax, and providing some relief for retirement income. We've also held the line on broad-based tax increases and have fought the efforts to have binding arbitration. These are important actions, and many of them got their start right here. What it tells us is you're listening to us and you're implementing these changes. And the critical thing is we don't need any backpedaling on these. Now, over the past year, one of the important significant improvements in the tax area has been the change in our ranking in unemployment insurance. Historically, we've been ranked 50th or 49th. The new tax foundation rankings have us down to 23. Remarkable change. Our work's not done there, but we have to keep looking to make the system more competitive. This year, our recommendations are recognize that we're facing significant budget deficits. We've made some progress, but we also had dug ourselves into a big hole over the past years, and we want to minimize the financial impact on the budget as we move the state forward. We oppose any broad-based tax increases. It goes without saying. We support more control on state spending, and department budget overruns should not be acceptable. We support the continuation of the phase out of the car tax. We believe that the estate tax, we're now one of 13 states that have estate taxes. We're the third lowest exemption now because we've stood a little bit still. We're only behind Massachusetts and Oregon. Again, we look at we're again becoming an outlier. We're not proposing immediate elimination, but we are proposing an interim change to exempt small businesses and family farms from the estate tax, and then continue increasing our exemption eventually to be where the feds are. We also support a statute of limitations on tax collections of 10 years, which is what the federal statute of limitation is. And we also support the reduction of the usurious 18% interest rate on past due accounts that goes back to the Carter years. And finally, we want to see that every bill heard before the committee in the General Assembly have a sponsor's economic impact statement. We recognize that we're facing a $200 million deficit, but it's important that we continue to improve our business climate. In fact, I would challenge the members of the General Assembly to organize a pro-growth, pro-jobs caucus in each chamber that would promote and improve our business competitiveness. These caucuses could go across party lines, and we need to know who is going to support economic growth and who is with us. I also challenge the people in this room that they need to become more active in their governmental process and participate and actually make cash investments in the political process. We have a saying that we're using. It's economic growth, it's the business climate, it's jobs. Historically, businesses have not invested in the political process and have tended to sit on the sidelines. Those things have to change. I use a quote that came out of Washington around 2000. It's been attributable to Senator Enzi from Wyoming. If you're not at the table, you will be on the menu. In all seriousness, there are forces out there that want to tax and regulate you out of business, and they're making the investments to do so. You need to step up and make investments now. That means you need to be active. Know and let your representatives know your thoughts. Be prepared to financially support these representatives that are willing to step forward and represent your interest. They need your support, and we need to be supporting them. Thank you.